And the reason for it is I'm excited about what's going on today. There's a new program that Armor Down is uh, delivering. And typically what happens when I'm at the beginning of a new program, the uncertainty and the newness of it capture my imagination, and it's hard for me to sleep. So I had a hard time falling asleep last night, and then I got up at probably 3:30 or so. Partly the dog, but I think the dog moves when I move. So if I'm moving around very much, the dog just knows. And so the dog knew I was awake. So I walked the dog at 3:30, laid on the couch for about an hour, and now I'm here. So we'll see. Today's going to be good. I'm very excited about today. We're well prepared, and we're going to deliver a really good program. But I'll tell you about it tomorrow. So today's a today is a stanza that is a kind of just a reminder. It's just a reinforcer of, the fact that what we've got going on our insides is a reflection of, or what we have going on our insides is directly what shows up on our outside. So our inner world and outer world are synced. And for the warrior, for the art of peace warrior, that understanding is realized personally, and the responsibility for fostering and maintaining as much peace, growth, and goodwill is what the art of peace warrior dedicates their life to. That's what I dedicate my life to. And so the 13th stanza is: when life is victorious, there is birth. When it is thwarted, there is death. A warrior is always engaged in a life and death struggle for peace. So what jumps out at me right away is that it's not better. It's just, this is just what happens. Life is victorious. There's birth. There's renewal. When life is thwarted, there is death. Warriors always engaged in a life and death struggle for peace. And so that takes place on the inside as well as on the outside. So I remember in the past when I would have insomnia, the story would be one of failure and fear. And it would just grow inside. And so I would bring that into what I was doing next. And now the difference is that I just don't have that narrative. There's no narrative. There simply is the experience. Okay. We interact with the experience. I interact with the experience. And it eventually changes. So it's just is, So the training is all about that. I mean, that's why we practice. That's why we're going to do, I'm now calling it 10 bells. That's why we're going to do 10 bells. Is in 10 bells time, there is an opportunity to first recognize your capacity to focus, practice what to focus on, practice what to do with what you find, and then practice taking what you have, the best of what you have inside of you, out into the world. And that's the goal, over and over and over and over and over again. And anyway, let's do the practice. Let's do the practice. Today's going to be kind of short because I got stuff I got to do, people. All right. Settle in. Let's get that first bell. We're just going to come across. First bell. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Now, if you want, you can make sensation. Like I'm making sensation by rotating my fingertips around my thumb. So you can do that. You could do something like clockwise on one finger, counterclockwise on the other. It's a little tricky. One way. And it's tricky. Of course, you could stop that and explore sound. Curiosity. Be curious. It's quiet. Bell 2 and 3. Second bell. You take that present focus, send it in. Starting with your ground, pelvis, core, heart space, throat, top of the head, and one thing to be aware of as you're going through the alignment of your body is thoughts will show up. Other things will present. It has nothing to do with, the goal isn't emptiness, quiet, deep dive, bliss. None of that's the goal. The goal is simply being present through these steps and watching how that presence gets confronted with other things. And if you can maintain the presence and not be pulled away by the other things. So your presence is the ultimate seed. What's pulling you away are the things that you kind of find important or meaningful or whatever in your life. Now, if you can recognize those things, acknowledge them, but not let them pull you away, then you're practicing the purpose of the practice. The purpose of the practice is to maintain focus. And you don't maintain focus because other things are absent. You maintain focus because each time other things show up, you choose to come back to your central focus, which is at second bell, that's your body, the feelings in your body. Now we'll go to third bell. Third bell, we go into the breath. Now there's countless ways to interact with your body through your breath. What's unique for you today? What do you want to do today? Forget about me. Forget about what I'm doing. What does it feel like for you today? How do you want to breathe? And while you're breathing, while you're focusing, with no other intention to breathe. Now, I think some people get confused. Oh, I got to breathe this way to get to this place because this place is X, Y, and Z. That's a different style of practice. This practice is simply paying attention to the breath in its different forms and recognizing how the attention on the breath can get distracted by something else, and you choose over and over and over again to come back to the breath. So let's do that for 3 minutes. So think about it like this. While you're seated, every moment there's the potential for new kind of thought or distraction. What am I doing this? What's going to happen here? What's going to happen here? And you're aware of this, right? Or you're mostly aware of this. Thought comes. You follow the thought with your thinking. So thought comes, you follow that thought with your thinking. Follow that thought with your thinking. Your presence disappears, right? You follow the thought with your thinking. Now imagine you do that all the time, every day. Every day this thought, this theme, this area appears, you follow it. You follow it. You're supposed to be doing something else, this thought shows up, you follow it. That thought becomes your world. It becomes your world. Every time you think about it, it becomes more and more your world. And it's not so much thinking about it as that's powerful. It's that you put your attention on it that's powerful. That's where your power is. Your power is your attention. So what you're putting your attention on is going to show up in your life. And you can see what's showing up or what's inside of other people by noticing, observing what's going on around them. And when things show up that are just kind of far out, you can assume that, and you don't notice anything, you can assume that something's going on and you're just not aware of it. Your inner world is reflected in your outer experience. So here's how this reads in my interpretation of it. You have power. First, over yourself. Second, over others. You can contribute to growth or death. That is power. A warrior knows this and supports life. I think the greatest way to kind of see this is what your social media, your digital world looks like. If your digital world, if I go onto your Facebook page, or I go onto your Twitter feed, or I go into your comments in YouTube or your YouTube history, or if I go to search on your Instagram, what will be there? What will show up? And if what shows up is kind of what you see yourself as, or what you want to see in the world, that's cool, you know? Is that something that you're really paying attention to? Or is what's showing up kind of, just a mess? The digital world reflects what's inside of us very quickly, very quickly. The kind of in real life, the reflection is slower, but the digital world, you can see it really quick. So I'd love to hear about your practice today. I'd love to hear about what you're kind of thinking about the different stanzas and how they're applying to your practice and to your experience with life, especially during such volatile times. Yeah, my chat function's still screwed up, so I can't tell if anyone's saying hi. I used to be able to do that, but now I can't. I don't know why. Still, I'll figure it out eventually. But anyway, see you tomorrow, Armor Down. Later.